episode of the podcast, I'd like to give a real warm welcome to Brian and Christina from Frame Your Feline. Now, before we talk about this amazing product, I'd just like you both to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, your background, who you are, where you come from, and what you do.
Oh boy, that's a loaded question. By the way, this is Brian, not Christina. I just want to make sure you know that. No, Christina and I, we both live in Los Angeles, and we're together as a couple, but we're also comedians. So a little bit of a background. We do stand up at the clubs in LA, and I had grown up. I'm going to go back in the past for a moment here. I grew up a dog guy. Okay. I had a dog. Life was good. I didn't know anything about cats, felines, kitties, whatever you want to call them. Okay. I had zero clue. Fiona, you would not have liked me. Okay. I had zero clue.
You're the enemy at this point.
Yes. At this point in the story, I'm a complete buffoon and enemy. Okay. Fast forward, I meet Christina, who has a completely different childhood where she grew up with cats, lots of cats, right? Tons.
Cats from birth
Yeah.
till now. I don't think I've ever had a dry spell of no cats.
So we hit it off. We went out, and then the discussion of pets and animals came up, and she was horrified. It was she tried to leave. She was disgusted with me, and then I said, well, okay, I'm gonna be open-minded. Teach me the way of the cat. Okay. I'm not gonna really like the cat thing, but I'm happy to try. And let me tell you something. I've said this a lot. Cats are magnificent creatures. That once you discover how wonderful cats are, the moment you lock eyes with a cat and you actually spend just a couple minutes with a cat,
If they let you.
Right?
Yeah.
Cats are very finicky. The whole cat thing is so understood. It's your whole world opens up, and you go, "Wow, cats are amazing! I love cats!" And now, as Christina said before, cats are like tattoos. You can't just get one. Okay. It's just, it's kind of like potato chips. You don't just eat one, right? You're eating the whole bag. This is the way of the cat. Is you fall in love with one, and then the rest, you're addicted. And there's a definite cat addiction here. We love cats. How many cats do we have now, Christina?
We currently have 4 adult cats that are indoors and 2 kittens we are fostering. And we have an outdoor worker cat that we tried to bring inside, but he really wants to be outside. So I think through our entire relationship, we've had 10 cats. I think that's so. what our count was. But I've always grown up with cats. My mom loves cats. I love animals, but being in entertainment, we often have long days on set, or we have to travel overnight for a gig. And as you know, it's very hard to have a dog because you come home and the dog has eaten your dining room table and furniture. A cat, maybe, there's a little present for you somewhere. Cats are, pretty easy to manage when well, Brian did lock one of our cats in a closet for 16 hours when I was working on a show.
That was not on purpose.
Not on accident.
But I was like, she's been in there for 16 hours and she didn't do anything. She was just the perfect cat, little Maggie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was contemplating chimpanzees instead of cats, and Christina talked me out of that. So yeah, I'm really happy that we went with the cat thing.
So you were really forced into it. Let's be honest, Brian.
No. What happened was we weren't officially living together in Los Angeles. I had my apartment. He had his apartment. And then he and I would walk to the post office, and these 2 cats would come out of their apartment and they would just love on him. And I was like, oh, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. And then one of those cats started to follow us home. And then we found out that cat was living in a not so great situation. And then that cat became our cat after a few conversations. And Brian was in love with Maggie, and Maggie was in love with Brian. And every time we hear the Rod Stewart song, we think of Maggie.
Yes. So true.
A chatty tabby. And so that was easy. We had Maggie, and then our next door neighbor who is kind of an influencer celebrity. He's like a faux celebrity.
Yeah.
He was a jerk, and he had an orange and white cat named Corky. Mark, if you ever hear this, I won't tell you his real name, his stage name, but he would kick the cat out of the apartment and it would live under our cars. And he would feed it like cat treats as food. And then he moved out, and then his dad came by and said, "Do you want this cat?" And I was like, "I guess." So then we had Maggie and Corky, and then Brian was just like, "Wow, this cat, he sits on my keyboard."
And we had to, and Corky, we had to fix his teeth. Remember?
He had to have 3 teeth pulled. He would look like Elvis from time to time because of all this bad nutrition. Then he had diabetes. So I had to learn how to give him little insulin shots, and Brian was like, "What in this is crazy." And I'm like, no, it's good.
And then when he turned 12, he had braces, and that was just so difficult.
No, but it was fun. We have a home office. We work from home. So we would usually have one cat sitting on the printer and another cat sitting on the keyboard.
Yeah. It's hard to do work when the cat just takes over the workspace.
They do it all the time. It's just a thing.
You know when you need a break.
Yes.
So do you still have Corky now?
No, Corky passed away when we were in our apartment in LA, and then Maggie passed away when we were newly pregnant with our son Jackson. And so when Corky passed away, we got Frosty, who is this big white indoor domestic cat with big blue eyes. We got him. Frosty just passed away in January. But when we moved, then we have a one-eyed cat that lived in our neighborhood that we still have, named 2D. Another neighbor just thought it was okay for him to be out on a very busy street in Los Angeles, so he followed us home too.
Yeah.
And then we just have other cats that we've gotten since we bought our house. We have Winnie and the 2 kittens, Holly and Jolly. And then because we live just north of the Hollywood sign, about an hour in what's called the Antelope Valley. And if you've ever heard of the poppy fields, these big, beautiful orange poppy fields you can see in outer space, they say. Yeah. We adopted 2 cats from our local shelter and named them Poppy after the flower and Mojave after the Mojave Desert, which is exactly yes. So like I said, a full house, and the outdoor cat is called Scrappy because he used to eat the scraps, but now he eats the regular food from the can. He doesn't eat our cat's leftovers. He eats his own portion.
So how much do you love cats now, Brian? Because obviously Christina grew up surrounded by cats. From what I understand, she grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment with 12 cats. Is that correct?
That was when my parents were first together and in college. And then my mom says that they had to slowly get all these little kittens adopted, and then they moved into an apartment. And yes. So I had cats all around me as a baby.
Yeah. So the love of cats still runs deep within my veins, and I don't see that ending anytime soon. I enjoyed them thoroughly, and
Mine's really great. He's the first one up in the morning. So the first one up in the morning does the litter boxes that are in the kitchen. I do the other litter boxes. He does the feeding and the tidying up.
Yeah.
He's a good cat dad.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. So I love cats.
And how is it with your son growing up with cats? Does he love cats as well, or is he?
He loves the cats. Like, we have a beautiful picture of him and his bassinet and Frosty on a little hassock, just sitting there babysitting him. But he's really gentle. I think another thing is when we lived in our apartment in LA, I would cat sit for probably a dozen different cats in our neighborhood. And we didn't have a washer dryer in our apartment building. So some of our neighbors did. So they'd say, oh, bring your laundry over, bring your son over, just play with the cats. Cause when I cat sit, I don't just go over for 5 minutes and do the litter and the food and get out of there. I like to hang out. So I would do laundry, and then Jackson would roll around and the cat would sniff him. And then I'd show him how to play with a wand and stuff. So he's very animal friendly. We have neighbors who have dogs that we talk to and feed. He has little horseback riding lessons that he does. So he's around animals an awful lot. And I think that might be something beneficial for when he gets older. But yes, one of the rescues that we got Winnie from, you'll see Winnie in a lot of the videos on Instagram. She has a head tilt actually, and that's why nobody wanted to adopt her. She was pregnant and had an ear infection, they told me, and they didn't want to give her medication because they didn't want it to affect the milk for the kittens. But because of the infection in the ear, she got this little head tilt. It's called feline vestibular syndrome. And when we were inquiring about rescuing her, when we were moving into our place, they were very apprehensive about letting her in a house with an 18-month-old. And I said, bring the cat over and you can see the house and you can meet Jackson. And the woman walked in the door. She's like, oh, wow. Like Jackson was just like, hi, Winnie. And he was just so cute to her and playful. And he's not like a tail grabber. He doesn't scream at them. And he's very loving and caring. And, you know, the moments when he actually sits still and they come and sit on his lap, he's like, mommy, look, take a picture. You know, someone's on my lap. So he's so
So he really appreciates the cats and he builds up his own relationship with them then.
Mm-hmm. And like Winnie has a major tolerance for noise. She will sit next to him while he's building his marble run, and she'll just like look at the marble going down the track. And, you know, we talked to him about safety, about putting away the Legos and putting away the marbles so that nobody has that in their mouth or anything, but they love to play together. It's cute. It's cute.
It must be nice for you just to see that bond while he is growing up, obviously. I guess, Christina, you've experienced that yourself. Brian, not so much because you had dogs. Shame on you, but we'll let that go.
Hey, come on, forgive. Okay?
I think your mom is allergic.
My mom says, okay. So the excuse was my mom says she is allergic to cats. But
like my husband.
They did mention,
and she didn't have any problems.
I didn't see any wheezing. I didn't see my mom wheezing.
Judy, when you're listening to this, big apology from Brian. We've said to them, you guys, because they have retired in Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and we've said, you guys really should get a cat. And they're like, yeah, no, I think they just don't want to have to
deal with pets.
Cats. Yeah. I think they're over the children. Brian was the last child. He was enough. They don't need anything else.
He finished them off.
Well, I don't want to say this out loud because I don't think my dad will listen, but I'm shipping him a cat for Christmas. That's what I'm going to do.
If he listens, he's got a few months to get used to the idea.
Right, yeah, get used to the idea. Anyway, yeah, so the love of cats is what then inspired what we created. And I guess, this is where we should probably talk about Frame Your Feline.
Well, when we were in our apartment, our hairdresser was like, oh, you just got a cat? Let me bring over a cat tree. And I was like, ugh, okay. She's like, he's going to love it. And it was this ugly powdered blue carpeted cat tree. And Frosty was actually a feral rescue, and he was super shy. So as soon as we brought the cat tree in, all he did was go to the bottom where there's like a box with a circle, and he just hung out there. And I was like, did you even get up to go to the bathroom or eat? Because he was just stuck in there. And I was like, oh, this is really supporting his super shy like behavior. And then, cat trees that get dusty and the cat throws up on them, or somebody gets territorial and pees on them. And
hey Fiona, I'm not here to candy coat this situation. I'm not here to kind of tiptoe around the actual problem here, and I think all of your listeners would probably agree. It's the open secret. Cat trees are gross. Okay, they're ugly. They take up a large footprint in your home, your apartment, your house, wherever you may be. And there's no cure for it. Okay, I don't care, what they do to the cat tree to make it more pleasing. It's just ugly. It's an eyesore. It's, I'm sorry to all the cat tree manufacturers out there. Just stop. Okay, just put an end to it. Okay, take the cat tree to the back of the barn and shoot it. Okay, it's over.
And
I'm sorry. It is. It's true.
well, the other thing is like we had this ugly cat tree, and then like excuse me, like Instagram and everything started happening, and people were dressing up their cats. And so I would go to Petco and buy these cheap little costumes, or I'd go to Old Navy and buy a tank top for an infant, and we put these clothes on our cats, and they would just roll on the ground, and they would pretend they were paralyzed or they couldn't walk. And we would take pictures. We're going to post some of these on the website of like, we had Frosty trying to have him wear a witch hat and hold the pumpkin and take a picture with him. And we're like, this is just very frustrating.
Okay, so there's two issues, Fiona. All right, in case you guys
recap.
in case anyone's counting at home, here's what's going on. Cat trees are disgusting and ugly, take up a large footprint. Cat costumes basically paralyze your cat into fear. Okay,
they hate you.
They hate you. Okay, for it. Okay, and then there's something else that I really have a beef with, Fiona, and if anybody's offended by what I'm about to say, my apologies in advance. There's a certain thing out there called a cat wheel.
I knew you were going to say it.
Okay. All right. Now, we invested in one of these things.
It's a Christmas gift.
Right. Now you want to talk about a large footprint. This thing, like, I should be running on it. Okay. Okay.
It is about as big as a treadmill. I'm looking at it right now.
Literally our 5.5-year-old could use it as like a running wheel. Okay. We have tried desperately to get at least one cat out of like 6 here
to do a full rotation.
Just to rotate. Just get on it. Not one. It's like a cat repellent. It's a cat repellent.
Lasers, wand toys, music, treats.
This thing, no one wants to go near it. Not one. It's a repellent, as I said. It's a cat repellent. So the frustration runs high here, okay, with buying and purchasing things for your cat, and having them basically not, either they are so not into it, the costumes and the wheel, or it's a freaking eyesore for the parents of the pet, right, of the cat, to see this monstrosity of a cat tree in the house, and it stinks.
It does. Have you ever tried to wash a cat tree?
They're not the easiest things to clean, are they?
So we moved into our new home. We're hanging up artwork on the walls and everything. And our cats are there, and I'm like, we should get some pictures of our cats to put up on the wall, Oh, try getting them to pose. Oh, kind of thing. It's impossible. And then we were like, oh, well, should we get some cat shelves, to put on the wall? And then we were thinking, wait a second, cat shelves are boring and they're kind of just there, right? There's no purpose other than the cat.
Perch.
And I'm like, we want something that matches the aesthetic of our home and is functional and works. And so we came up with the concept of like, let's attach a frame. Let's create a frame that maybe when the cat's up there, it looks cool. And we then, there was nothing like it. And we were like, wow, I think we're on to something here.
There still is nothing like it.
There's no. And we we reached out to my dad, who is a gifted engineer, and we were kind of going through the concepts, through some sketches, and he was like, there's nothing like this. We're like, no. And so,
and then we're like, how do we like put a frame? Like we were playing around with like just like a frame from like IKEA. How would you put a frame on a shelf? And how would you know that it's safe? Because something has to be safe if you're going to put it in your wall and a cat's going to jump on it. It needs to be safe for your building structure. Yeah. And it has to be safe for your cat because we don't want cats to get injured.
So we started going through the design phase, and we went through the alpha stage and creating prototypes, and my dad and us, we all worked together on this project. And I remember we got the first one that we created, because, you know, since my dad's an engineer, it's all about like safety and torque and how much weight and bounce. And so, I mean, he's doing all these like crazy things to like, you know, test. And the first iteration we had was more of a square, and it didn't look right. It was like kind of a window.
We hung it up in our garage and we put Frosty in it. And we were like, no, this is close, but it's not
too small. Right?
Yeah.
And then,
which we've now turned that into a plant holder. It's in our kitchen and it's on the wall. We're like, there's the very first Frame Your Feline, and it holds 2 plants.
Yeah. And so then we made it bigger, and then the framing materials, we use actual real framing materials that professional framers use. So it looks like a work of art when it's hung on your wall. But before we get into that part of it, you know, a big part of the creation of Frame Your Feline was not only the safety and all of that, but then also the design of installation and making it so easy for anybody to install on their wall. All they need is studs at 16-inch intervals, which is pretty standard. But we've created this template that goes into the packaging. That
it's like a poster, and you put it on the wall, and it guides you.
It has a little level on it, so make sure that you're hanging it up.
Your shelf isn't crooked.
Your shelf isn't crooked, right? And it's so foolproof. When we had our testers, we had our beta testers. We had 4 of them across the country here in the United States, and they had to install with just our written instructions. We didn't give them the videos that we've now shot that are on YouTube. And they were like blown away at, wow, this is so much fun. Like the instructions, since we're comedians, the instructions are fun. Okay. And so we had fun in creating these instructions, so it doesn't feel like you're reading instructions. It's more of a story in it.
Yes, because we hate boring instructions, because people usually don't.
They put them in the pen, or they don't read them.
Yeah. So we're trying to hit them with either something interesting to look at, the poster with the cool instructions, or a video that they can watch. But that was a big thing, you know, because some people are apprehensive. I literally had never used a drill before we shot the installation video. So we wanted to make it as like, this is really happening. Because, you know, a cat tree, sure, it's easy. You have it shipped to your house, you take it out of the box, and you plop it on the floor, right? So we wanted the installation for Frame Your Feline just to be effortless, and just you have confidence that it's installed the right way because you've gone through the little instructions.
And so a cool thing happened in creating this. So when we had our beta version, which is, you know, what is now the final version, and we put it up on the wall in the house, not in the garage where we had to take the cat into the garage to see. But once we put it into our house, immediately, unlike the cat wheel, immediately the cats were jumping up we also have step shelves that we sell too. So if you don't have shelves and you want them all to match and everything, it's really nice.
It looks really nice.
Beautiful. And by the way, everything is made pure hardwood, and made in the USA. No, that doesn't mean that much to you out there in Manchester, but you know, it's quality materials, high end, and
handcrafted. Yes.
And
all real human beings.
All of the shelves have this really cool gray carpeting that has these grooves, and the cats just love.
They love to scratch it. They love to, well, Tootie, I'm thinking of, he loves to, like, you know, mark himself, rub his face all over it.
Yeah. And it's fully
you can vacuum it,
replaceable.
You can replace the carpet, you can easily vacuum it. I use one of those little silicone is it a Zoom groom? Is that
yes.
The Zoom grooms to just kind of get all the fur from time to time. The toupee that comes off.
Yeah. But here's the cool thing. So the cats were immediately attracted to it. And what's really neat about the feline frame is the cats jump in and then they feel so comfortable. They feel like they're in a box, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When even though it's open on all sides, it tricks them into thinking they're in something. And so what they do is they climb up into the feline frames and they sit there and they look out at you because it's open.
And they judge you.
And now guess what you have? Your cat posing for you with zero effort. You don't have to do anything. They just naturally do it. And so what's really neat and what I see happening is Instagram. People are going to be taking pictures of their cats in frames with different backdrops because the artwork, I know this is hard because it's a podcast. They can't see it, but go to frameyourfeline.com, frameyourfeline.com, and you can see the pictures, but the backdrops are interchangeable. So you can put any image behind your cat.
Your favorite sport, a flag, vacation photos, your own photos.
Oh yeah, you can upload. Yeah, you can customize and upload your image, or your cat, your family photo if you wanted to. So your cat's always with you.
one of our recent purchasers, she's a veterinarian in Michigan, and she's going to have like her company logo as one of the artwork panels, so she can take pictures of the cats while they're visiting her, and then send it to the pet parents and stuff. So that's super
cool. Yeah. So, and the holidays are going to be fantastic because you'll see a whole holiday section that we're going to be putting up pretty soon, where we'll have Christmas and Halloween and St. Patrick's Day and all sorts of holidays. So when it's time to celebrate those holidays, your cat will be sitting there posing, celebrating with you. And that's what's kind of neat is, so not only do we have the artwork kind of component to it, but the frames. So we have, right now we have 3 frames to choose from currently. So we have Gallery Gold, which is this ornate gold frame.
Like you'd see in a museum often.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Contemporary Silver, which is like a hip and wavy kind of silver frame. And then we have a traditional cherry wood for the traditional frame.
Like a game room, library, office kind of thing.
A darker wood. Yes. And so those frames, what's kind of neat is the frames are interchangeable too. So like you could order a Gallery Gold, and let's say you're like, you know what, I feel like a change. You can order just the frame, the silver frame, for instance, and then you can just
swap them out.
And you can swap them out, and it takes about 2 minutes. You literally and you put the new frame, and it changes the aesthetic of the room, and it changes the style, and so it's kind of neat. You know, there's so many options with Frame Your Feline. It's kind of cool. You're never just stuck with, oh, that's it. You know,
and like a weird thing that turned into a blessing when we set up our beta testers with the product. That was over 14 months ago.
Yeah.
And their cats are still in the frames every day. They have sent us tons of pictures. They're in and out. There are 2 of them at a time. We have one of our users is a Maine Coon cat and a Bengal cat, and they have like a little soap opera going on Instagram with videos. Who gets to be in it? She's like, it's my birthday. I want to be in the frame. No, I'm bigger than you. You could be in the frame. So we know like that's the cool thing. It took us a little while with COVID and all that to figure out certain things, and we were slammed with work, but
And
we
then-
finally decided to let's launch.
And then the patent process.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's taken a while, like all good things, it takes a while. But it's been great to say, oh, we have 4 families who are beta testers and their cats aren't like, I hate this thing, I'm never going in it. They're like, no, we're in it all day. We need to order another one.
Yeah. So that, so yeah, that was like the blessing of it all, was just that not only did we experience it, but then our beta testers did. And now everyone can also experience it, that you're not just getting something that you don't know if your cat's gonna I can tell you it's been a home run. And we're super excited. It's functional. Even when your cat's not out of it, it looks great on the wall, right?
And we know that cats need that vertical space. So whether they're jumping up from a desk that's underneath into the shelf, into the frame, or they're using a configuration of our shelves or your own shelves, it's great to see them getting exercise. They're not just like sitting around doing nothing. They can look out at you. It's entertaining. We have them behind where we eat dinner, and our cats are often just kind of like, they've put a paw through the frame. They're just kind of hanging there. We live in an area where there are like mountain lions and stuff, and there's a cat rescue down the street, and those big cats do the same thing our cats do. They're just kind of hang out with their paws.
Initially, it was called Frame Your Chimpanzee, but we had to put that on the.
It was initially called Frame Your
something
else
else.
That's not a feline, that is a cat name, but then people thought it was too radical. So
that's a sideline project.
Yeah, right. Hey, Fiona, you want to go in with us on the Frame the Chimpanzee idea?
No.
You know, it's funny. We've gotten inquiries from people saying, "Oh, will you make this for dogs?" And literally, I have to tell them, your dog will walk in it and through it and just leave. It won't. You know, it's not like cats where they go and they just sit and look out and and they're posing. It's the coolest thing.
And they sleep though too in it. Like we have another one in our kitchen where we have a really nice window system that looks out into our backyard. And Tootie, our one-eyed cat, he is often sleeping there at night.
Yep.
And I'll get up because Jackson will wake up in the middle of the night and I'm on mom duty for a minute, and I'll go in the kitchen and he's like just waiting for the sun to come up and waiting to see the birds. And so it is nice if you have it and it's like near a window area, because then they're perched up, they can see over everything. And
you know what's funny, Fiona, is like when we have them in our house and we would have guests come over, but we forgot, like we didn't tell them about what we've been building or doing. And they walk in and the cats are sitting there looking out from the frame, and they literally go, "What am I looking at?" Like their brain gets tricked out, and I go, oh yeah,
don't take a photo of it.
Yeah,
don't post it online.
Yeah. And, you know,
it's a secret in fact, on Instagram, our previous handle, which is still active, was called Secret Cat Project. I was at Secret Cat Project because we were releasing like little teasers, but we wanted to release the full thing. But yes, some people are like, wow, this is a winner. You guys, this is a winner. This is so cool.
Yeah.
What backgrounds do you currently supply with it at the moment?
So when you purchase a Frame Your Feline ensemble, which is the ceiling and the floor, if you want to think of it that way, that you connect to the wall, and then the frame that connects to that, right? So when you order the feline frame ensemble, you get all of those components. You get the frame style of your choice, the 2 shelves that it connects to, and 2 free backdrops of your choice.
The artwork panel.
The artwork panels, right? And it's free shipping, and it has all of the hardware in it. So I know you initially asked, okay, so what do you get, right? What are the choices for artwork? But I just wanted to preface, okay? So the artwork panel choices, we've got things from City Kitty, which are images that are within like kind of cityscape kind of pictures, where we've got some from Paris.
Mhm.
We've got images where it's like the nitty gritty back alley kitty, where there's graffiti and everything, so your cat can look like they're in the back alley.
And also some of these artwork panels are just straight up photography, and some of them have been digitally enhanced through AI, and then some of them have been manipulated to look like paintings. Some of them are paintings. So that's a cool thing. So you go back
yeah,
to.
so we've got a category called bar. So these are images that, you know, of like whiskey and meowtinis and wine barrels and wine glasses and really cool images that if you want your cat to look like they're hanging out
at a winery,
at a winery
or a bar,
right? Or even kicking back and having a beer. You'll see that we have some fun with the images where we actually have the label say something like Perona Extra, right? Instead of Corona, right? It's Perona, and the label is manipulated. We've got Stella Catois and Stella instead of Stella Artois. Pretty funny. Like if when you hang it on your wall, it looks very sophisticated, but if somebody was to go close and read the labels, they're really funny. We've got a section called colors. So we've got everything from tie-dye look for the background for those hippie cats to solid colors, because maybe you just want to have, like, if your cat has blue eyes and you put a solid blue behind them,
really
oh
pops.
man, it makes it pop. Like, it's just beautiful for pictures. So we've got solids. We also have gradients. We've got a category called landscapes. So in landscapes, we've got images of paint. We have actual paintings from painters. So we'll talk about our artist community in a moment, but we've got deserts and mountains and all sorts of beautiful
lakes and canyons.
Yeah, mountains, you know, so beautiful, beautiful images. And then we've got a section called nature, where perhaps you want your cat with a butterfly or a dragonfly or hanging out with a spider or flowers. We've got tons of flowers and just
different kind of blossoms, peach blossoms, almond blossoms.
Right. And then we have this section called roads, streets, and paths. And what's kind of neat is putting your cat with an image of a street or road behind them, and it looks like they're on the road, or they're on a bridge, or they're on train tracks. I mean, and it's really interesting because we talk to our artists, and we've even gone and created some of these images ourselves internally here. And the perspective of a cat when it's sitting in front of it is now in your mind of, oh, how low would I go to take an image in order for to enhance the illusion in a way of your cat actually being somewhere. Okay. So it's kind of neat. But seascapes, and we've got all sorts of signs and flags and symbols. We've got a section called sports, if your cat's into the basketball, baseball,
your cat.
football, right? Still life, wildlife images, and then of course customized artwork panels. If you want to upload your own image and have that printed, so put that behind your cat, that is also possible as well. But yeah, like I said before too, we're going to be having a section for holidays and birthdays. And so when it's time to celebrate your cat's birthday, you can put a birthday backdrop behind your cat and take pictures of it, put it on Instagram, celebrate your cat's day.
We have one panel right now that says "Happy Birthday to Meow," and that's a top seller.
Yes, and that's
because it's like, it's your kitty's birthday, and you can put their little like cupcake of food on the shelf, and then there's the cat, and it's a nice little opportunity to have a staged moment, but it's so sweet.
Yes, and so yeah, so where's this art coming from, and how often are we putting up new art? And basically it's like every other week we're putting in new artwork panels to choose from. And once you have the Frame Your Feline system, you can order panels at any time and have them and
swap them in and out.
Yeah,
it's endless really with what people want and what you can actually give them.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's really endless as to what
Oh,
people
yeah.
want and what you can give to them.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the cat loving community of artists
Yeah.
are coming to us going, hey, I would love to have some of my work.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a friend of ours from Croquet who is
Oh,
a
yeah.
pathologist. He does cellular art on the side. So he'll take a sample and then look at the cells, and sometimes he'll find really interesting images within the cells. And so he is offering a few pieces through us.
Yes. So we're
That people will be able to order. We haven't put that up on the website yet, but it's very interesting looking. It's very neat, this cellular art kind of thing.
cellular art. So
things that look like a monkey, or I don't know, just all kinds of different
that should
pieces.
be.
I'm not sure which ones he's letting us. You're the one who knows the top
Yeah.
secret information there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go, we're offering this one, and you're like, no.
But we have painters and digital artists and photographers and anybody who's interested, if they're interested in having their work with random cats in front of it, you can always go to our website and go to the about area, and you'll see the join the creative community area, and you could submit and say, hey, I want to do it, and hey, the more the merrier.
So Fiona, if you have some amazing photos from all your travels or in and around Manchester, we have someone who has been to Brazil that has submitted some photos, like sandcastle photos and favela photos and stuff. So it's interesting to see what people have, and then what people go, that's cool. Or somebody might submit something and people are like, yeah, I don't like that one, but it's neat to see people go, oh, I can't go to Rio de Janeiro right now, but I can send my cat there and frame your feline.
So what's your plans for the future of Frame My Feline then?
Frame your feline.
Yeah.
But if you go to framemyfeline.com, it goes right to our website too. So just letting you know. Yes.
We buy a lot of domains.
Foolproof.
Yeah.
So what's the future? So, growing the product out, we're going to be doing our newsletter, right?
Yes.
Where we'll feature one of the artists of the month. We'll put up showcase new artworks that are available, and then eventually looking to work with doing some licensing. I see that.
It'd be fun to be able to have
sports team logos and
animation that's famous animators, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
or TV shows with their
cartoons,
logos,
things like that. If your cat wants to pose, right, then
Yeah.
with interesting backdrops. Yeah. So, it is, as you said, it is endless, but we built it out smart, going through the whole patent process, that took a bit too. And so, it's doing it the right way.
And then testing the market to see like who gravitates more towards the gold. Should we offer some more types of gold? Who gravitates towards the silver? So expanding the
frame style.
The frame styles. But we're just super excited. We can see this being a product that's used at cat rescues. One of our beta testers works with cat rescue. She's like, oh, this is going to make life so much easier to take pictures, to put online, and cat cafes. So, I mean, we really we have other ventures that we are involved in, other things that we've been inventing and designing and creating, nothing in the cat industry, mostly for actors and performers. So we're excited to meet a whole different, group of people in the spring or summer of 2019. We actually went to CatCon in Pasadena with our son, Jackson, who was in a stroller at the time. And Jackson has a little YouTube show called Jackson Asher Super Adventures. And we shot an episode of that at CatCon, and we were going there basically to do research to see is there anything? And there was nothing. There were great cat toys and litter box solutions and ugly cat trees and little toys and snacks. But it was amazing to see the people, it was like a tailgate party at CatCon. People are in costumes, their kids are in costumes. Jackson had a brief love moment with a little girl dressed like a cat. They were running around the lobby together. So it's really fun.
You don't see this type of passion at ChimpCon. Okay, you just don't. You really don't. Only at CatCon do you see it. Only
You won't give up, Brian.
Can you imagine this 24/7, Fiona?
No.
Hey Fiona, I was thinking about coming out and visiting you. Do you have room for Brian to hang out?
I think I'm busy that week.
Too funny.
Oh, I think your product's fantastic, and as I said, it's sort of limitless as to what you can actually do and where you can go with this. And I think for what I think is, if this is sort of rolled out, and even if you gave a couple to some shelters and just get it out there and let them enjoy it, and it'll just grow and grow and grow, and everybody's going to want one in their house, or 2 or 3. Because,
one in every room. I think that's the goal.
Well, we have... Yeah, I was just gonna say we have a gallery wall where we have 2 on one wall, and then 5 step shelves that lead up and out, and the cats just enjoy it all day long.
Yeah, and most people, they don't really own one cat. Let's be honest, they have more than one cat. So they need more than one because they don't want to share it.
Yes, we are very much about philanthropy. I mean, all of our cats are rescues.
Yeah.
Yes, the Lang Foundation, the Cats Meow, Palmdale Animal Shelter. Could we call the streets of Los Angeles?
Yeah, that's one.
Unfortunately, so we do look forward to a philanthropy endeavor within our company. We had bought the domain name woundedwhiskers.com years ago, and we still have that. Because eventually I would love to be able to have a Fix-It mobile that can travel around and spay and neuter cats. I think that's a big thing that needs to be combated.
But I think what you're doing is something that you're both very passionate about. You found some need in the market for something that just wasn't there. But you're doing something that's also fun, and to be honest, when you're in this sort of cat rescue area, you have so many stories where they're difficult to listen to or they're very sad, and it's refreshing just to have something that is a bit fun.
Thank you.
And give something back that makes people smile, and I think that's really what your product does, and that people will smile if they have one on their wall.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. And not only do they smile, but anybody who comes to their house and sees it smiles, and it just, we're excited to get it, have people discover it and learn more about it. And we really appreciate you having us on your show and talking about it. So thank you, Fiona.
It's been a pleasure, and I just wish you all the luck in the world, and I look forward to seeing where you go with this. And for me personally, I don't know what the laws are with regards to using other people's artwork, but how would it stand if you looked at something, the French Impressionist style of Edgar Degas with the ballerinas? How does it work with that? Are you allowed to do these things, or do you have to jump through hoops?
We learned a lot. We have some friends who are attorneys that advise us with every business move we make.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. The images, even if they're out of copyright, the actual owner is the museum, right? And so you can't put up a Van Gogh, let's just say, right? Now,
if someone has made something that is Van Gogh inspired, then because I actually have someone who has water lilies that wrote to me last night at 3 a.m.
But another thing that we had to be cognizant is of buildings. So somebody sent us, we had an image of the Eiffel Tower, but it was at night. And we said, can't do it. Sorry, because the lights are copyrighted. The light design.
Wow.
You can't sell an image of the Eiffel Tower at night, but at daytime, anything goes. Yeah.
Right.
So learning about that, like if you were to have a picture of the New York City skyline, that's okay. But if you have an image that's focused on the Empire State Building, that is not okay, because that is copyrighted. So if the focus is the Empire State Building, no. But if it's a wider view and it's just part of the random skyline, then okay.
Mhm.
Hollywood sign, same thing.
No Hollywood sign.
No, you can't. It's copyrighted.
Yeah.
So
So unless those people came to us and said, hey, I
But
want to
this
give
is-
you permission, or we reached out to them.
but this is part of the whole licensing thing,
Mhm.
right? Because they could go, okay, it's a cat product. We give you our blessing. We want X, right?
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah, a big learning curve on what is good and what is not allowed.
And
yeah.
we are performers and creators, and we are comedians, and we certainly wouldn't want somebody going on stage doing our set,
Yeah.
so wait, that's
We
my joke.
understand,
So
yeah.
so we are very respectful
Yeah.
about that, and we know there's a learning curve, but we have done lots of research and lots of question asking.
We had somebody a week ago who uploaded a backdrop image of the Let's Chat About Cats logo, and they wanted it for the backdrop, and we had to say no, because that's Fiona's. That's Fiona's. Not allowed to do it.
It would have been okay if you added a chimpanzee to it. I don't
Oh, see, you won't give up, Fiona. You'll never give up.
mind.
You won't give up.
Oh, well, it's been such a pleasure to talk to both of you, and as I said, I wish you all the luck for the
Thank you,
future of the
Fiona.
product.
wanna
It's
stay in touch?
fantastic.
We'll stay in
Yeah.
touch, and we'll be
Yeah.
back next year at this
Yeah.
time for a 1-year follow-up.
Yeah, and you can come here, and I'll dress
We
up
would
as a
love to.
chimpanzee.
All right, excellent. See, won't give up. You won't give up. Awesome.
Brian can just not shave for a little while.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the chip.
Brian is Belgian, so he's not very hairy.
Oh,
Oh.
All
Oh.
right. Well, thank you again, Fiona. We really
Thank you.
We appreciate all the listeners who've made it this far into
Yeah.
the pod. And we hope to be back at some point and give you a follow-up. Yeah.
I hope so. Definitely. Well, I'll book you in.
All right. Thank you.
Fantastic. Stay in
Oh.
touch.
Take care, both of you, and thank you so much.
Bye.
Enjoy your day.
Oh, is this it? Is this the end? Well, you can cut it out, right? You can cut that part out.